Welcome to the Porsche Club Insider, your one stop for all things Porsche and PCA. Here's your host, Vu Gwyn, and the Insider crew.
Welcome to episode 126, and we're back at PCA headquarters. Around the table, we have a gentleman with a freshly cut hairdo, Mr. Manny Albin.
12 minutes it took him.
12 minutes to do your hair.
I let it grow out a little bit, so it took a little longer.
And also, we have Damon Lowney. Thank you, Damon, for yesterday for joining me in making a PCA member incredibly happy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, raffle surprise. It's that time of year again.
Time. Yeah, so let's maybe jump right into the raffle surprise. Sometimes I can be called creepy or a stalker, but thankfully...
I haven't seen that comment.
But thankfully, I use my skills for good and not for evil, and I use this every time we do raffle reveals because, as Manny and Damon both know, it is extremely hard to surprise people these days.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they're in disbelief for most of it. So how we did it this time around, we have a winner in New Jersey, and what I did was I found their social media, and then I found out they had a recent birthday, found the missus, and we never tell the family member too far in advance because it's just too big of a secret to expect them to hold it until we get there. So I try to find an accomplice, you know, what's removed, so to speak. And we saw that they had a very fun birthday, and the person that made the cake, Lisa, made the cake for them, seemed to be pretty chatty with them. So I reached out to Lisa.
Where did the cake come into all this?
So Lisa's the one that made this cake for their birthday party, and I saw a lot of
so they're having a birthday party.
Earlier in the year. I'm like, well, it seems like she knows them pretty well. So I called them, and as you can imagine, most people, I have to start off the conversation with, I know this is gonna sound extremely shady, but hear me out. And she heard me out, and then I send them links of our past YouTube channels, and so I convinced her, and I said I'd love to.
All I have a vision of them Googling your name and coming up with a picture of you wearing the sumo snowman outfit on the cruise.
Yeah. So she was a great accomplice, and in fact, she made a wonderful cake to use as a surprise.
Oh, wow.
So we drove up. We'll put a picture of the cake here later. It's Bite Me Cakes by Lisa. So thank you, Lisa. We showed up. She met us in the so she knows them sort of, and turns out her mom lives in their neighborhood, and the mom and the wife of the winner, they share dog dates or something like that, right? So I'm like, cool. So she said she'll set up a dog date, and so we'll know that they're home. Wasn't sure if the winner would be home, the husband, but at least we know the wife would be home. So that's where we set off and headed up yesterday morning, about 2.5 hours from HQ here. Met her at the park just like we had planned, and then we drove over to their house. Now the dog, I didn't know what kind of dog, so I'm always kind of concerned to make sure that, you know, a stranger coming up to a house that you know, the dog might not be friendly. Turns out it's a German Shepherd, so
they're very friendly.
They're very friendly, unless they don't know you. So they figured out, okay, they will walk up to the house. They spoke to the wife. I don't know what they said to her, but they got her to put the dog away, and then asked the husband to come out. So while we were waiting for the husband to come out, we surprised the wife, and she was floored. She was hilarious because she was throwing explicit. There's lots of bleeps in the video, but she couldn't believe it that they had won.
So to set the scene, you're going to give away a Mecum EV.
Yep.
Or a lot of times sometimes we get the cars and we can drive like an example of the car.
Right.
But there's no Mecum EVs.
There's no Mecum EV, but there's a Mecum EV on the cake that she made. So
wow.
Yeah. So that was cool. And as we rolled up to the house, we noticed there was a Cayenne Turbo and a standard Cayenne. So they're definitely Porsche people, right?
Yep.
And after we surprised the wife and waiting for the gentleman to come out, we hid behind one of the Cayennes, and he walked out. We had balloons that matched the cake. We had the sign. and he was floored. He truly was surprised.
He was surprised.
And when we do this, we never know exactly how it's going to turn out, but both of you have been on these enough to know that somehow the car gods play in our favor. And turns out, the connection with the wife and the mom and stuff was good, but it was also his day off. And he happened to be home.
Wow.
And and they invited us in. We went over the details of the car. They're so excited. Good people.
Yeah.
Started drinking right away.
Yep.
So how many tickets did he buy? Did he say
2 tickets?
2 tickets.
2 tickets turned into, and the cake that I told you about that I saw on their social media, they did a Las Vegas kind of poker theme. So he likes to go to casinos and he likes odds and stuff like that. And I asked him, have you ever won big in anything? He said, oh, no, not really. I just, dabble here and there. But I said, well, guess what? I guess you are ahead of the game for quite some time.
Yeah.
Well, that's
He noted how the odds were
Yeah,
so good
he
for the
knew the
raffle.
odds.
So
He's like, yeah, how many tickets?
and
have
how
you
many
sold?
cars did we give away this year?
7 cars.
7. So you
7
had
cars.
the top prize was the Boxster Cayman.
Boxster Cayman GTS, your choice. So it's the top prize was Boxster Cayman GTS, your choice, plus $25,000 plus a Porsche driving experience.
Wow,
Nice.
Yeah,
Everything after that was the Macan EV.
yeah.
Is it cash too, or is it just the Macan?
The Macan. If you take the Macan, it's also cash.
Also
Macan
cash.
plus 25. Yeah.
Wow.
So this podcast will be posted on Monday.
No, this will be the 2 Mondays from now.
Okay, so I can talk about what we're gonna do with. So we've surprised 5 winners so far as of today.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
As of today's taping, or recording, and then on Saturday we are getting ready. As you know, the Treffin at Sea Alaska cruise is going on. But before we hop on the ship, Nathan Mers, Susie Mers is hosting a bunch of us at their facility, and we're going to do something fun, which includes luring another raffle winner to the party. And we're going to we'll have a Macan there. Obviously, we won't have a Macan for electric, but we're going to have one staged there as part of the display.
Get Nathan to get an extension cord, just plug it in to the gas tank.
But the winner is coming. Turns out, and again, I remember I talked about how things line up and the car gods kind of somehow follow us. Susie went to grade school with this winner.
Wow.
So it did not, wasn't very hard.
Reminds me of my wife, who she knows everyone, and I'm like, how do you know everyone that we're in a different county than what you grew up in?
Exactly. And so she didn't have to twist their arm very much for them to just come to the party, because they're Porsche file as well. And the whole group of us, I think there's about 400 of us that will be at this event.
Did the other winners or regions notify them, or did you call them?
Yeah. So unfortunately, we can't do a personal presentation to every winner. So what I always like to do is share in the fun of this. This is one of the most fun things you could ever do. And I give all the information to the local regions. I get them, the sign imagery, and help them put together their own surprise. So the regions have done a tremendous job.
No one's ever won close to here, meeting at HQ.
Well, no, the one you were on, Bethesda, remember?
We did.
Oh, I'm thinking around here, like Columbia.
Oh, around here?
not
No,
that
I don't
close.
think
But
so.
we're gonna have to. If that ever happens, we'd have to somehow get him to come to the national office.
You know who always wishes he won, and if he ever did win, and this will probably never happen now.
Paul Gentili?
Yeah,
I knew it.
Paul's
Yeah.
always saying, "Oh, if I won," I'm like, "You don't even understand. If you were a winner, the ringer I would put you through would be incredible."
Not safe for work.
Yeah. Because I've never known a winner that well. It would be cool to know someone that well, and you could really put them through the ringer and get them almost mad at you, and then do.
Yeah, somebody asked me over the weekend, have they pulled a winner? I said, yeah, no one in Maryland won. I said, you didn't win.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, and people get mad at us. People get mad at us when a female doesn't win, or a certain area doesn't win. Again, it is a raffle. It is truly random, and we don't have a say in who or how.
Honestly, I think our worst fear, at least mine was when I was on EC, was the same person winning 2 cars.
Oh, it
because
won
that
a
could
raffle?
happen, right?
It
They
could
buy
happen.
multiple tickets.
It could
I
happen.
was like, oh, wow, you know how much people would be saying that you didn't mix up the tickets enough, you didn't
It could
do
happen.
this. But it's never. We had one winner who won the grand prize, and then at the time we were giving away a trip to Germany
Yeah.
as like a second tier prize.
It was cool.
And they won both of those.
It was cool this time around that, male, female won. We had people from all over the country. In addition to, we had a Canadian winner. So
Nice.
it was well represented this time. So
Yeah.
good job. Yeah. So that was fun. That was yesterday. But I know this episode, we're really going to focus on what many people consider a bucket list week event. Some people consider it an annual pilgrimage to go. And we're very fortunate that we are there on an annual basis simply because we're tied to Werks Reunion. And that's just a small part of what they call the Monterey Car Week.
Yeah, and I first time I went to Car Week, I didn't know what to expect, and it fulfilled all expectations and more. If you're a car person, actually, my wife used to like coming too, and she's not a big car person, just because the area is absolutely spectacular. It's in the summertime, but it's nice and cool, no humidity. Carmel, Monterey, and the surrounding area is just absolutely beautiful, and of course, everywhere you look is cars, collector cars.
Yeah.
And it's, if you have a Porsche, it's almost equivalent to have a Toyota around here. It's not that special. I'm not saying that it's filled with Ferraris and Lamborghinis. It's cars that you've only read about. These really weird English cars or Italian cars that you might have never heard of that you learn about. So it's pretty cool.
So in our world, we're the car people in our family amongst our circles, and we're kind of the go-to people. But when you go to Monterey and you see the depth of knowledge and cars that you don't even know the brands to, but you can tell they're worth lots of money, you feel like you've kind of stepped down the ladder a couple of rungs. And I love learning about, there's so much opportunity to learn about different makes, different cars. And yes, there will be a lot of Porsches there, but then there's also very high-level Porsches and some crazy stuff that you've only seen in books, you've only read about or seen online. This stuff is not only present in Monterey, but they're driving around. Like, you pull up to a light and you know that's a 7-figure car just at the light. That's insane.
Yeah.
I would love to have someone to walk with me and point out some of the cars, like the brass era cars that I don't know much about.
Yeah.
And say, oh, you got to look at this car because there's only one or two of these, and it rarely comes out because otherwise I may walk by it and not think twice about it that it's a rare car. It's kind of like if I were to visit a famous art museum. I would need someone to walk me around because I'll walk by and not realize it isn't an exit sign, but something from Andy Warhol.
So there's a couple of ways you can approach Monterey Car Week, and I'm not sure how Manny has it planned for today.
I was going to go day by day.
Day by day, but are you also going budgetary levels?
Yes.
I mean, there's
Yep.
the high-end stuff that you can do, and there's the stuff where we go around the backside of the parking lot.
Yeah, because some of our listeners, they may think the Quail is great value.
Yeah.
For us,
It is
it's
for some.
a
It is for some.
we need a sugar daddy to help
Yeah.
get us tickets. But for others, it's a great value because that's the kind of level of expectation of service and food they want.
For sure. All right, so where are you going to start with?
So
Friday?
Monterey Car Week is actually a little longer than a week now. And there's a great site called cmonterey.com that breaks down the whole week, including the four-letter word free, explaining which there is quite a lot of free stuff that you can do. It doesn't seem like it when you're down there, but there is a lot of stuff you can do that's on a budget, including lodging. And the lodging key we all know because PCA is the frugal people. They do not. We don't stay at the Ritz or the high-end hotels. In fact, we don't even stay at a hotel with air conditioning.
We are stewards of the club's money.
We stay at the haunted hotel,
Yes.
or we stay an hour away, and that's the key. If you're willing to drive, and it's a beautiful drive in, you can stay at a very reasonably priced hotel. If you want to be right there in the middle of the action, you are more than likely going to pay for it unless you get a great deal in the Airbnb. But you got to remember the whole world is coming. This event, like we said, it's a bucket list for a lot of people. They come overseas to this event.
Yeah, and if you're looking for accommodations in the $150 to $200 range, you're going to stay at least an hour out. And it's not that bad. I mean, it's different when you have to show up to the field at 6 a.m. to set up for Werks Reunion. But if you're there just as a spectator, an hour out's not so bad. And I'll throw a tip. There's plenty of hotels out in Gilroy, garlic capital of the world. Simple amenities, doable in an hour or so. Get into Monterey if you're looking to do it on a budget.
And odds are, if you decide to eat back around where your hotel is, it's probably going to be cheaper too.
Yep.
And easier to find a reservation than trying to get something in Monterey or Carmel.
Yeah, this is something.
Flying in, you have San Jose, which is the closest, but you could always consider SFO and
Oakland.
And
Yeah.
Oakland.
Yep. And Monterey has an airport, but that is also a little bit expensive.
Not only expensive, just limited flights.
Limited
too.
flights as well. And also something to keep in mind is we're not just talking about, hotels, but motels as well in Monterey. You're probably looking at, more than $300 for a Motel 6 room if there's one open.
Yeah.
If not more than, $300.
Oh, at least,
And
yeah.
also a minimum stay.
Yeah.
They don't let you do 1 day, 2 days. It's like
Yeah.
the full.
So it really is, if you're on a budget, don't even think about looking in Monterey. It's not going to be budget worthy.
But, your whole goal is to go experience Car Week, then decide what your price range is and enjoy the days you're there. So it seems to start off the Friday before, so it's almost like a week before Werks. August 9th is the Monterey Car Week Kickoff, which now we've never been to this. At least I've never been
Not
to
that
this.
early. No.
We've never been there that early.
No, it's but it's a car show on the streets. That's probably why it's free. And to me, that's the coolest shows are the ones that are open out into the public, and you can just walk in, and because your expectations are very high. To me, nothing more painful than paying $500 for a Concours ticket and not being. You don't feel like you're seeing $500 worth of cars,
Yeah, and it's earlier in the week, or I should say, so the 16th, Friday, is Werks Reunion. It's kind of like the last free event of the whole week. So if you're looking for free events, don't look at the 16th, 17th, and 18th of August. Look earlier in the week, if not the week before, August 9th being the
But as we come in, you'll see there's still some cool stuff if you plan.
Mm-hmm.
So the following Saturday, or not the following, but the next day, Saturday, August 10th, is something that we went to the inaugural one, which was the Sunday of Pebble Beach, the first time we went. And then this is the Monterey pre-reunion, so it's like their practice weekend before the big race. And so a lot of the cars, if not all the cars, you're going to see during the following weekend on the historic races, or the what do they call it, reunion races. You're going to see practicing, and I believe the admission's less people.
So it's the same event. They just moved it a week earlier.
Oh, so what they've incorporated now is the corkscrew.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the same event.
Okay.
I think these used to be called the prehistorics.
Yes.
Right.
Yep, exactly. And they've incorporated the corkscrews. The corkscrew Hillclimb was, I think, Bruce Canepa and some other people had this brainchild of an idea to run Laguna Seca backwards from the start-finish line up until the top of the corkscrew as a hill climb. And it was pretty wild.
That first year, it was on the Sunday of Pebble Beach, I believe.
So
this time, it's the week before.
Yep. It's when we went, it was free. I think they charged now to get in. And then when first time we went, they were trying it out, especially going up against Pebble Beach.
Very cool seeing the cars go up the corkscrew.
Yeah, it's. It's great watching them go down for like the traditional way, but also watching them go up was a cool experience. And the crowds are going to be a lot less than a week later. So that's also Sunday, August 11th. Those 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. And this like practice, or like Damon said, prehistorics, that was something they've been doing for a while. And people who are fans would always tell other people, go watch the prehistorics because it's so much more relaxed, less people. You can really talk to the owners of the cars. It's just a lot less crowded. Then we start with Monday, and this time it's August 12th. They have a lot of different, for lack of a better term, swap meet, expos, and this is the Automobilia Collectors Expo, where you can look at some very expensive posters and memorabilia of almost every mark you want. So if you're a literature collector, this is a must attend. But what I like is later that afternoon from 4 to 8 is the Porsche Monterey Classic event. This is held at Porsche Monterey dealership, which is next to the Home Depot, I believe. Yep. Which is right in downtown Monterey.
Almost like Automotive Row.
Yeah, exactly. And I follow them on Instagram, and they get some very cool cars at this event. It's also free, and you can see some Porsches that you probably aren't going to see at the real big events, because those are big events, so you have to be invited to show your car. This type of event's like a big cars and coffee. So that's at Porsche Monterey if you get there on the Monday.
That's August 12th.
Monday, August 12th. And I don't believe they have anything listed on Tuesday. There we go. Tuesday, Concours for a Cause. That looks like it's an event you got to pay to get into. Another day of Automobile Collectors Expo. This is a show that Vu has judged at. This is the Classic Motorsports Monterey. This is
another great show.
This is Tim's show from Classic Motorsports magazine, hosts a show, and it's in Pacific Grove. That's like a park?
No, it's still down roads.
It's down like a downtown street.
A downtown street, and if you're like me and you like all sorts of cars and vintage and exotic, they have a little bit of everything, and they're parked on the street. You can walk right up, meet all the owners. Some of these cars you'll see again at Werks Reunion, or you might see them at the Ferrari show, or you'll see them at the corresponding mark. But yeah, people that are bringing their cars out, shows like this just gives them one more opportunity to bring their car and show it with folks. And yeah, it's a fun show, very laid back, very you just grab a drink, walk around, meet everybody. Not a whole lot of presentations. Judges do their thing, but very laid back, very cool.
It's in like, I think did this take over or take place of Concours on the Avenue, because that was on Tuesday before.
Yeah, I don't know that it was a replacement for it. It's just I think the other one went away and then this one has appeared. I believe that's what happened.
How's parking in Pacific Grove?
Not bad. Just park on the side streets. Yeah.
Okay, so it's doable.
It's definitely doable. It's Tuesday, so it's still pretty early. Once you get in around Wednesday and Thursday, then things really start to tighten up in terms of parking.
So we're getting in Tuesday, but we're getting late afternoon into Monterey, and we start on Wednesday. So Wednesday this year is the first day of the Motorsports Reunion at Laguna Seca. So all the cars that if you didn't get to go to the practice the weekend before, this is where you can go to the track. And at the track you can buy different types of tickets: 1-day tickets, the whole 4-day ticket, or 3-day ticket, 2-day ticket, whatever you want. You can choose.
And I would think on a Wednesday it wouldn't be that crowded just yet.
No.
Yeah. And you can walk up to the racers, the race cars, all the vendors.
And for people who've never been to this, Monterey's weather can change drastically simply from going from one location to the next. You can be at Pacific Grove maybe, and it'll be 60 degrees or 65, and then you shoot down to Laguna Seca, and it feels like it's 90.
Yeah.
So
dress in layers.
Yes, exactly. Dress in layers. Bring a backpack, but don't be surprised that suddenly it starts getting really, really hot because, once again, you change different areas without seemingly driving a whole lot.
Yeah. Well, speaking of driving, the first half of the week, getting everywhere is fairly normal. The second half of the week, plan that it will take you some time to get anywhere.
It's kind of like LA traffic or maybe Chicago traffic. It's not the distance, it's the traffic.
Right. And it's not a grid setup where the roads you can take an early one and, reconnect at the end. Like, there's only one way in and one way out for a lot of places that you go.
Yeah. The cool thing is, it's the most entertaining traffic jams I've ever been in, because odds are you will be next to somebody in like a Lister Jaguar or something, and you just roll down your window and, well, I'm showing my age, roll down, push down your window and just talk to the guy next to you, because it is, that's one thing that struck me the first time I went, was how cool the traffic jams were.
Yeah.
Because it was some very, very unique
I
cars.
always think about how stressful it is. You know, I have some older cars, and older cars sitting in traffic when it's not that cool and watching that temperature gauge, that would stress me out.
Oh, yeah, we've seen many vintage car being pushed by some passerbys to the side of the road because, like you said, it overheated or vapor locked or whatnot. Yeah. It also seems that the police turned a blind eye during this week and allowing race cars without license plates to drive on public roads.
Not to drive like an idiot, but allow you to drive on the road.
To go from one place to another.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you'll see. We saw Ferraris, Alfa race cars.
Race cars that definitely should not be on the street was milling around.
That place is a car that you wouldn't even know where to put a license plate if they had one. But yeah, the cops were pretty cool about that. I think the Cinderella turning into a pumpkin thing ends after Pebble Beach, and then you better have a license plate. But
speaking of welcoming all of the restaurants and places where you're going to go visit, they are very welcoming to Car Week. You'll see they'll put the event stickers and stuff on the doors.
And we've been told that the locals who don't like Car Week leave or to rent their house out because Monterey is a whole different place. So when we've gone off season, it's still crowded.
Yeah,
it's not like a ghost town,
right? No.
Just a different vibe when Car Week's not there. But yeah, you can tell the businesses love Car Week. They love the attendees. I had never looked into how much business is brought in from Car Week, but
I'm sure they know exactly how much.
It's got to be hundreds of millions at least. Yeah.
Then the auctions start queuing up, right?
Yeah. So this is we're still on Wednesday. More of the Automobilia Collectors Expo. Pebble Beach Auctions, the first day of looking at the cars. A lot of these, you won't be able to see many of the cars unless you pay a certain fee to be able to go in and look at the cars. And I found that the entry fees progressively get more expensive as you get closer to the auction. So sometimes they'll have, if you look it up, sometimes they'll do that the first day is free. Maybe they may do a public thing that's free, and then the second day, like I said, it seems to progressively get more expensive as you get closer to the auction. But you really owe it to yourself to attend at least one auction or go look at one auction, the cars, because it's pretty cool just looking to see what the asking price is and what it's like. You can actually see the watch an auction. That is the ultimate.
It is the best place to people watch.
Oh, without
I mean, I love the cars, but the people watching, that's entertainment.
Yes. There's a lot of, you never ask, is this your daughter?
Hey. Or your son.
You just nod and keep on going. So like the Pebble Beach auctions, and if you've never been to Pebble Beach, Wednesday is a great day to go. Because once again, it's slow. You should be able to go right up, and they'll park your car for you, or you can park there. And they usually have, when I went, I remember Mercedes having a temporary dealership. I think Porsche had a temporary dealership there. It was, by dealership, I mean, they build like a 2-story glass structure.
Oh, yeah.
Along the road into Pebble Beach. And first time I went, I thought, why in the world does Mercedes have a dealership on this road to this golf course? And then it occurred to me, this is just temporary. This is not part of their usually usual layout. But at least to go see Pebble Beach and the Lone Cypress Street is worth the trip. And of course, 17-mile drive, which I believe is a little park.
A little tip: if you want one of those Pebble Beach straw hats, you can go to the golf store. What do they call those? The
pro shop.
The pro shop. You can go to the pro shop and get those without having to actually do the full Pebble Beach.
Are you hoping they'll let you in as a judge?
No, I just wanted the hat, so I got the hat.
I was with you when we bought this.
I know. Oh, this next one that you're about to talk about is one that I've always wanted to go, but we never seem to make it.
The little car show?
The little car show.
Is it for little cars?
Yes.
Yes, Captain. Obvious.
Or is it a little car show?
Oh, a little as a small number.
No, that would be funny.
There's only 2 cars at this car show.
Truth in advertising.
Yeah.
So tell them about the little car show.
I don't know much about it other than
Well, it says right here.
yeah,
It's
vintage
Many
cars and
micro
cars.
electric steam
Like I
and arcane vehicles.
expect like a row of Isettas and little, was it the Peels, the little cars?
No, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I like silly stuff like that.
Yeah, it's and this is a free show. So a lot of times the free shows, to me, are the best because, once again, expectations aren't very high.
Yeah.
But you get these enthusiasts who are so proud of their cars but would not get an invite to the big stuff.
Yeah.
Get to show off their wares. And they may bring this car down just for this show and then go back home and get another car for another part of the week. But you can learn. I've learned so much about Isettas from the owners because the owners are so passionate about these cars that if you just start talking about them, they will open the door for you. They will ask you to sit in it. They'll do. It's that's a great thing about Car Week is you can make a friend very very quickly just by walking up and asking a question about the car. Because don't be shy about that because even if the person has a grumpy resting face, odds are they'll start smiling when you ask them about the car.
Nicely put.
Grumpy resting face. Yeah, if you're unfortunately if you're like me and you see something that you're unfamiliar with, and then all of a sudden you start talking to them, then you find yourself going, oh, I can see myself with one of these. Oh, and then you learn about the price, and then you learn about how to look for them. Oh, you dig yourself in a deep, deep hole. Like I said, I would love to have one of those.
Yeah, it's and there's auctions there to help you out.
I know.
To go and
I'll let Vu buy the Isetta.
Yeah.
yeah, I would love. I got Vince Kanoff gave me a ride in his Isetta.
So he gave me a ride. He gave me a ride in his during Halloween, and he was in a Bumblebee outfit.
Wow.
We drove that to downtown San Diego, and he's wearing a Bumblebee outfit. Like you couldn't get more attention than that.
He gave me a ride at when they were
May
doing
he rest in peace.
the Festival of Speed at California. It was a California Speedway. That
Yeah.
was the name of the track. But we didn't have maybe because my big butt was in there. We didn't have enough momentum to get up on the banking. So he was like, "We're gonna have to ride the apron."
That's hilarious.
But yeah, he gave me a ride around the track, a hot lap in the Isetta.
So the flip side to the little car show, if you're talking about free and little things, inexpensive toys, so to speak, that evening you have
Motorlux. So that's now owned by Haggerty. It used to be called I think a reunion.
I don't remember.
Motorsports Reunion at McCall Center.
Yeah,
I just
McCall's,
remember it
yeah.
as McCall's.
Yeah, it's at the Jet Center in Monterey. We were just talking about. Damon mentioned the airport at Monterey. It's held there, and where the private jets all come into.
And if you're wondering, is it like snazzy and maybe some music with little appetizers? You're right.
Yes.
You're right. That's what I've heard. I've never been to it.
Yeah.
You guys got to go to it. I'm hoping to get to it this year.
Yes, it's great people watching. Very, very interesting people watching because you separate the people who want to be seen versus the enthusiasts, and then you have the level of people who are so rich they could give a what about how they look,
Right.
or whether you care about how they look because I guess they're the billionaires.
Yeah.
It's all great people watching. Everyone's friendly. Food everywhere you look, and of course cars and aircraft.
Wow.
So it's a
Serious
perfect
hardware,
combination.
right? Serious
Yes.
hardware. These cars are.
So they have all the Broad Arrows cars that are going to be auctioned are on display, and I think as well as other cars they bring in for this an event. And this event you have to have tickets for.
Yeah.
Got to buy that. And I'm not sure they saw. I think they probably saw tickets for them. Runs 6 to 10 p.m. And the dress goes everything from casual to really fancy. Some people.
Can we all agree, like, the top goal for most of us enthusiasts is having a hangar? Like, I don't know what is cooler than having your own hangar and cars display. I mean, having a jet's cool, but I have a feeling that maintenance cost is probably high on that. But just having a hangar, I would love to have a hangar.
I'm not so sure. 3 cars, I mean, that's enough. Why would you want more?
Bless your heart, Damon.
Yes.
But I want a hanger, darn it.
And you
I
start
want
have
like
to-
a Hot Wheels, 64 Hot Wheels case of cars in real life.
And you have to start paying people to take care of them.
Yeah, but at that level, you can afford that many cars. That's not an issue.
True,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
You have your caretaker.
I think the realistic side of me is I'm hopefully can retire someday and be the guy that takes care of the collection for a guy that or gal that owns a big collection, And
There's
just
nothing
run
wrong with
through
that.
cars. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I would love to do that.
Yeah, when you have cars, and we always give Lee our Delta pilot friend because he has cars in California and cars in Maryland. And we're like, that's when you're moving up, when you have your car that you drive when you fly out, the collector cars when you fly out to California.
Yeah.
And then the ones here in Maryland.
Cool. All right, the next day? We still on Wednesday?
So for us also, we get there Wednesday, and then, so what also goes on Wednesday is the Pebble Beach Motoring Classic.
What's up?
I believe this is where is this the one where you can see the cars that are going to be entered in Pebble Beach? They do the tour.
I think that's a different day.
So that different
Yeah.
day. Okay, well,
Yeah, it's in the morning from 7 to noon, probably on Thursday or Friday.
Wednesday is also the RM Sotheby's public preview day, so that may tickets required. So once again, look at the pricing and see what fits you.
And you can go to any of these auction houses, and they typically have their catalog published online. So you can look and see. They probably have, I would say, 90% of it. They'll know. There's probably a couple ads as they get closer to the event. But you can see what kind of cars, and if anything there interests you, before you buy the ticket, you can preview it online.
Yeah, if you're going to buy one of those cars, I don't think the particular price is going to dissuade you.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So I think it's refundable if you buy a car. So
I will say, though, if you go to Broad Arrow and tell them you're a PCA member, that they will waive your bidder registration.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And also same thing with Mecum. PCA membership,
Very cool.
they'll waive your bidder registration. So,
No,
hey, that's at least a lunch, right?
Every
So
buck counts,
every
right?
buck counts. Thursday, getting closer to our event, but Thursday, what's going
Thursday back. If you want to go back to the track, this is when they're doing qualifying. It starts at 7 a.m. So much like any track events, you got to get there early if you want to enjoy the whole day. Here's the one where I thought it was.
Pebble Beach Tour de Elegance.
Yeah, this is the Tour d'Elegance. So this is on Thursday. Runs from 7 a.m. to noon. And you could pretty much pull out your picnic chair and a foldable chair and sit down and find a corner where the tour is going to go by, and which you'll see a lot of people do this, and just sit back and you can watch all these cars that are going to be entered in the Concours. Not all of them, but a lot of them do it because they get some kind of bonus or it becomes a tie score. It gives you an advantage if you've done the tour. So you'll see the whole range of cars doing a tour.
Way back when Manny wanted to give me a Pebble Beach experience, he and I set out early in the morning, and he found out where the cars were entering onto the field, and we just sat on the curb, and all of these wonderful cars came to us, and
Nice.
we could people watch.
Well, that was the Sunday of the event.
Oh, that was a Sunday,
Yeah.
yeah. And then we could smell.
We did some things illegal there for a little bit to get into.
No, nothing illegal. We just were. No one noticed that we were just sitting on the curb wherever cars were coming in.
I mean, we were out there with the cooks and the wait staff. But yes, it was very cool watching the cars because to me, half the fun is if you can hear these cars, especially if you can see them run.
Especially like the chitty chitty bang bang cars. I don't.
Remember the jet car?
Oh yeah, the jet car.
The guy behind the jet car was like 30 feet behind him
Yeah.
because
About to
the
pass out.
flame coming out of the back of and the smell and the flame coming out from this. There was a jet engine mounted to the back of this car. It was, very cool. So, if you want to get up early and find you can go online. It's called the Pebble Beach Tour d'Elegance, and they have the whole route already mapped out. And you can find your place, and I guarantee if you start doing it once, it'll probably become like an annual thing if you're if you decide to come to the car week every year, because it's just very cool to be able to see all these cars. Of course, they're going by at speed, so it's not like at the Concours where you can stare at them for as long
But
as
not
you want.
that fast.
That's true, especially the older.
Yeah, they're not going by that fast.
Maybe want to do early on the tour because some of these cars will make the whole tour.
Yeah.
It's also day one of the Mecum Auctions. Now, Mecum, I would have to say, is probably the auction that I look at and I go, there's a lot of cars here I can afford.
For sure.
It's just like if you ever watch them on TV, especially if you start watching them like on Thursday on TV, when they have the cheaper cars or at least less expensive cars. But you can walk around. They do it at the Del Monte Golf Course, and it's a huge facility. Lots of cars.
Again, they build out a facility that isn't normally there during.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very, very impressive, and I would say, and they run it for here they go. We started on Thursday. If you want to get a good flavor of an auction, that's a good one to consider.
Yeah.
They move very fast. So you won't be bored waiting for cars to come out. It's super quick.
Lots of energy.
Lots of energy, yeah. They have a whole opening ceremony. And
we talked about how this year we are trying out a early Mecum experience. We had about 50 or so slots available to host PCA members on Saturday. I'm happy to say it sold out in like 15 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's a heck of a deal.
Yeah.
Free.
Free.
It's that four-letter word again.
But that's Saturday. Let's continue on with Thursday.
So Thursday also, which I didn't realize this existed, was the Ferrari Owners Club Concours in Carmel.
Oh.
I know. I thought, is this Concorso Italiano? Because that's never free.
That's never free.
But no, this is there's vintage and contemporary Ferraris and Italian motorcycles judged for originality and functionality, which usually means that they're going to turn it on.
Yeah.
On 4 blocks, Ocean and Dolores. DJ, interviews with the owners, class awards, and it's free. So it looks like it's on the streets.
That is, I mean,
super cool.
Do you find that kind of odd that is going on at this for free, and then there's Concorso?
Yes, that's why I did a double take
Yeah.
when I was looking ahead of time. I was looking.
And it's a long day. It's 9 a.m. to 4:30, so it's
Yeah.
not like a short show.
So once again, if you're on a budget, you want to do the free thing. That seems pretty cool.
Yeah. And Thursday is also the day for our friends at Legends of the Autobahn, and they are holding their event at where Concorso is, but they're going to be there on Thursday. Concorso is Friday.
They charge for parking, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it says free, and technically it is free, but some of these don't be surprised if you have to pay for parking.
Yeah.
If you're driving in, have some cash on hand.
Yeah, have some cash. I would probably put a couple $100 of cash just in case.
Or find someone else who's going and just jump in their car. And,
Yeah. 'Cause, yeah, it's usually charged by
they don't charge by the person, but by the car. That's BMW, Mercedes, Audi.
And this is a new location for them. They've been moving around quite a bit. I think they're kind of in the cycle that we were trying to find a long-term home, and they haven't landed on one just yet.
Seaside, California, which is all within the Monterey area. Everything here is like you said before. It's not the distance; it's the traffic. So if you look distance-wise, it's not very far. It's a few miles at most. Then we got more stuff. So in Pebble Beach, there's a lot of tents, a lot of big tents, and a lot of things going on inside these tents. Like they call them forums or seminars, and some of them cost, some of them are free. You can look at the schedule online. But
that's where we went to see Spike.
Yes, and they're doing it again. I think they're sold out. But yeah, they do one of the live podcasts in the studio, or not studio, and under the tent. So more of the Pebble Beach auction viewing as well. Another free item is the Concours Village, which is also part of Pebble Beach. And this is where it runs from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. I think it's more like an expo.
Mm-hmm.
You can go through, and a lot of manufacturers have their stuff set up. What you're going to see these manufacturers on the field at Pebble Beach, but before the Concours on Sunday, you get to see them in the Concours Village.
And I'll note here that parking for spectators at Pebble Beach can be a challenge. There are options. There are some people that will let you charge on their yard for $20, $30, $40 or something like that. The further away you go, there's a couple of different lots that you can park out. Keep in mind, many of these lots are gravel, dirt, rocks. So if you're worried about your car getting dirty, you're going to struggle a bit about parking around Pebble Beach. And then you park there, and then you take a shuttle bus to the actual event.
Yep. Don't get angry. It's traffic everywhere there, especially Pebble.
Everybody's car is going to get dirty. So
don't be surprised if it takes you an hour from when you arrive at Pebble to when the shuttle bus drops you off to where you want to go.
Yeah, for sure.
And like Vu said, that parking lot we parked at, we had a rental car, so we didn't feel bad. But remember the Veyron that was sitting there in the dust?
Not only was it sitting in the dust, but it was like close to the main part of the roadway, so cars just drove by and just kicked up dust on it all day long.
I kept on thinking, wow, the Veyron owner doesn't have connections to get better parking than we have. No prayer of parking.
Sometimes a rental car just works.
Yeah, and we kept on going and going, driving, trying to find this parking lot that everywhere you'd pull into for parking, they would tell you, oh, you got to go to the next one, then the next one. I remember telling Vu, I said, I think we're actually going to be hitting another state here soon. It was forever driving to find this lot. Have you ever been to this one? Because I see it every year. Prancing Ponies Women's Car Show.
Is it?
I have not.
It's free.
Is it Mustangs?
No, I think it's this car features women-owned hyper classic muscle sport and electric cars.
Oh.
Proceeds support the Prancing Ponies Foundation's mission to create women leaders, one girl at a time.
That's cool.
Yes, I think it's all women-owned cars.
Do you know?
Sorry, I'll say where.
Spot here.
Yeah, I see it listed every year, but of course, for us, Thursday's setup day. Well, actually, this whole trip, we've got almost every hour booked. Ocean Avenue between Junipero and San Carlos, so Carmel by the Sea.
Carmel by the Sea on the street.
So, yeah, that's all. Once again, that's in Monterey, essentially.
Yeah, Thursday we're setting up, so we don't get to do any of these events.
And which brings us to Friday, which is Werks
Showcase
Reunion.
of PCA.
Yes.
Works Reunion, Monterey.
Yes.
Free to spectate. We only charge parking.
7 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Yeah, some people found parking on the street right next to the golf course. And
What's
just
the golf
walked
course
in.
called again?
The Monterey Pines.
Monterey Pines.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
We love those folks. They've been so
it's
good to us.
a huge show, and the great things about it is it allows our members to, and actually I think it's an event we still open up to non-members too.
Oh, absolutely.
Hopefully by the time they leave, they're a member. But
Yeah.
if you have a Porsche and you're proud of it, you want to show it or park it in the corral, this is the place to do it because there's no invitations that go out.
Sold out at the moment.
Corral is sold out.
Both
Judges sold out. We'll have plenty of parking. We have, I think, over 26 of the classic restoration candidates coming.
Wow.
We have Michelin display. We have Gunther Works coming. We have.
I think all the vendor spots are sold out.
Yeah, we have
Only
well
since-
over 30 some vendors.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be
A lot of food trucks.
food trucks, plenty of food trucks, plenty of drinks. Yeah,
It's really it may sound hard to believe, but it's really an all-day thing. A lot of people spend the whole day. They'll bring their folding chairs, and especially at lunch, you see people lay out blankets and use it as a picnic.
yeah. And here's where we're going to give you a tip. Decide what you want to do for Friday, and just stay there. Because if you're like, oh, I'm going to go to Quail and go to Werks Reunion and go down to Carmel by the Sea on Friday, forget about it.
Maybe
Because
take
if you
too
try
long.
to do that, you're going to be sitting in traffic all day. So unfortunately, you got to make a choice. So if you come hang out with us, plan to hang out with us all day.
We have
We have plenty to keep you entertained, and we are within walking distance of Mecum.
right next door to Mecum, literally next door.
Yeah, so that's one where you could do a twofer, and you wouldn't be sitting in traffic.
Yeah.
If you're interested.
So it's a great event. It's something that obviously our members have really embraced because of the fact it's a sellout, and it's our 10th year but 9th event. Because of COVID, we did Werks Amelia, but not Werks Monterey. But it's been no signs of slowing down. And Porsche is doing their the West Coast Restoration Challenge judging.
Yep, exactly.
So they're going to have 20-some cars, 20 cars, I think, last time?
26 cars?
26 cars. So these are cars that participating dealers restored and are showing them off to make it to the finals, I guess. There's all kinds of stuff to look at. So factor in about 700 cars on the field, and Lord knows how many in the parking area.
I think if we take into consideration all the cars that will be in spectator parking, this will be one of the largest, if not the largest, Porsche gatherings on an annual basis.
Nice. Yeah. And it's once again great people watching too. Big screen display at the head of the fairway. Yep. It's without a doubt you can spend all day there and not get bored. Yep. That's really how much fun it is. Usually by 2 o'clock, I know, Damon, you film it. Is it about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock we do awards?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it says 3 p.m., but really, I wouldn't arrive later than like 2 p.m., and that's probably pushing it. Right.
Oh, and by the way, in addition to all of the exhibitors, they give us tons of stuff to give away. So we have tires we give away. We have, Gria's Garage stuff. We have Princess Cruises gives away cruises. Yeah, it's a lot to do and a lot to take home with as well.
Yep. Yeah, we the day goes by very fast, but we spend the whole day Thursday not doing nothing but setting up for this event, and that's 10 people, hired help, our office staff. It's a pretty big deal. But like Vu said, that we're not the only show on town on Friday. So Mecum, of course, are doing their second day of auctions, and the event that isn't that many people, or what you would think it would be, because it's sold out. But probably the most expensive ticket in town, the Quail.
It's, what did they say, the big ball? I mean, it's like the place to be seen. And
you've been there, right?
No, I have never been to the Quail.
Yeah, same.
I thought we went over together.
Nope.
We kind of got snuck in.
Nope, I've never been to the Quail.
I've never been there officially. But I thought Paul went with us. We took us over one time near the end.
The only time I've been like on the Quail facilities when Porsche used to have their
end of the week ceremony,
end of the
year
week
party.
ceremony.
Somehow I ended over there while the show was still going on.
I do remember you guys got bags of something, like plastic bags of stuff.
I just remember it is the ultimate people watching.
Yeah, like big hats. Is it like big hats?
People dress up for that.
Dressed to the nines.
You can tell the people who want to be seen because they're constantly looking around to see if anyone's looking at them.
I know
great food.
Rolex is a big brand at the Quail, but there's people, wearing watches that are probably 7 figures.
And you see a lot of new model intros rather, at this event, because the people who can afford to buy these really expensive cars are there.
They'll probably buy it on site.
Yeah, I've heard, that's what I heard. Bugatti evidently sold out one of their run of cars at the Quail, just when they debuted it, and they had the billionaires there who said, "Yeah, no problem, I want one."
Yeah,
and signed them up. So,
not my world. I'd love to go experience it once, but
when we originally started Werks Reunion, we were next door to the Quail, which was really a funny contrast because you had our event, which was free, and you didn't have to be invited to show your car. And then we had the Quail, which was the ultimate in decadence of automotive.
The best part I remember is when the Quail paid for a airplane flyby.
Yes, and we announced that it was ours.
We said courtesy of the Quail.
Only the best for a Porsche Club.
We also have a flyby because the plane had to fly across us.
I think it flew over us first before it flew over the Quail.
That was perfect.
But we also had a lot of people from the Quail coming over on golf carts.
Yeah.
Because especially the first year, because they had heard about this show, we had caused so much traffic.
Yes, we did.
That people were getting delayed getting into the Quail, so they said we wanted to see what all these people were dying to get into this event next door to ours, because of course they were suffering from FOMO.
Yeah.
And I guess they could pick up a cheap taco too at the taco truck.
Yeah. But known to cause traffic jams, unfortunately.
I will say this much: if somebody says I have a free ticket to the Quail, do you want to come? I hate to say this, but you can forego Werks Reunion and go to the Quail. I understand completely.
Totally. Different experience.
Or call me up and I'll take that ticket.
Exactly.
No, you're working that day, sir, just like me.
I'll be back.
Yeah. So the forums are continuing.
So they saw stuff like more stuff going on at Pebble Beach the whole time from 9 a.m. to 5:30 at the forums. More of the Concours Village at Pebble Beach. Sotheby's.
Just curious, backing up to the Quail, how much is a ticket at Quail? Is that like
Let's see.
700?
Let's get entertained. Are sold by lottery only and can cost over $1,000. I believe it's over $1,000.
Wow.
Whoa, and it's only
No,
by lottery?
For people like us.
There was talk of tickets for 2023's running of the Quail in Motorsports Gathering, fetching over $3,000 on ticket resale sites.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's reasonable.
Apples and oranges.
Can you eat $3,000 worth of food?
Yeah. Interesting.
So,
Well, all right. Then on to Saturday.
yeah. So once again, so all this stuff we've been saying free. You can stay on the free train and not have to pay for it. But like Vu said, as by the time you're getting to Friday or Thursday, traffic is pretty bad.
Yeah.
And so, if you're trying to hop from one event to the other, I reiterate what Vu said, you're going to spend more time in your car than at these events.
Yeah. I will also say, if you're thinking about Ubering or Lyft around Monterey, it doesn't work like the normal cities. It's better to just get a rental car and try to go around yourself, because the Ubers and Lyfts get stuck in traffic and it just takes too long.
Yeah, you'll get your steps in.
Yeah. Plan to bring comfortable walking shoes.
And same thing with like if you go to Carmel for dinner, be prepared to walk a lot, because by the time you find parking where the restaurant is, give yourself a nice buffer, and don't think you're just going to pull up to the restaurant park in 5 minutes for your reservation.
Some places take reservations and some absolutely do not take reservations.
Yeah.
All right, so we go to Saturday. I think this is the last day of the Motorsports Reunion. I don't think they race on Sunday, but it is from 8 o'clock to 1:30. Is yet another event that Vu has been a judge at.
I know, and I'm missing out on it because I'm hosting with you and I.
Does that mean you lose your judges?
I told them I couldn't judge. I don't know if they'll ask me back for next year. Every year they ask me. This is the second year I said no, so they might.
This is the Concours de Lemons, or as people call it, Lemons. Because that's exactly what the kind of cars they attract is.
So much fun. Much fun.
I will say that lately it's been like not as organic as it used to be. Before they truly got terrible cars, but now people are. It seems to me they're trying too hard.
Quote unquote terrible.
Yeah, they're trying to make their cars terrible. Where some were really,
Yeah.
like daily drivers that were horrendous. But the people liked them and were proud of them, and they brought them to the show. It was. But still, it's free. It's free, so
It's a fun show, but I agree with you, Manny. Like in the early days of Concours de Lemons, I loved it when you had a 40,000-mile Chrysler K car,
Yes.
bone stock, beautiful, and in the owner's eyes, like, man, I have something special, and they do. They have something very special, but more often than not, now the cars there are like I don't know, they put fur on it and.
they force it.
It's still funny. I still enjoy it, but I miss seeing the really sweet cars that.
I think some of my best memories is when we invited our friends from Porsche who were coming from Germany.
Yeah.
And we told them we were going to take them to an event that was very close to Pebble Beach in stature. And so we bring them to Lemons, and they're like in halfway shock. But the one guy, he turned out he knew someone, I think, that Alex worked with, Alex or Boris.
Oh, really?
They started talking, and it turned out he knew one of their colleagues, and he made them, not margaritas, what's it called, the tomato-based drink? Bloody Marys.
Bloody Marys.
Made them Bloody Marys.
That's funny.
Yeah, so they're walking around with these Bloody Marys in paper or plastic cups.
Oh, and that's what they do at Concours de Lemons as well. As a judge, they are encouraged to bribe you, and they bribe you with food, drinks. a beer at 8 in the morning. That's pretty funny.
And you'll spend a couple hours there, maybe an hour. It's free once again, so I tell people don't miss it. Get there early if you want, and
Plenty of parking in the neighborhood.
And sometimes they, depending on the size of it, they'll move it also across the street. It's in front of a library, I think. So I think it's
like a park. I don't know.
It's a park, but it's like a library. You can't miss it. It's easy to find.
You'll see the cars.
Yeah, it's and then I think across the street they were doing a Cars and Coffee at like TJack Fridays or something. So it's, I don't know if that was impromptu, but we went back across the street with the guys from Porsche Classic and looked at all the cars in the Cars and Coffee area. So this is, what are we talking about? Saturday still.
Pebble Beach stuff still.
All the Pebble Beach stuff. It's also Concorso Italiano.
Oh, there's Saturday.
That's Saturday now. So there's a, this is done in the same place where Legends is going to be used?
Yeah, so Legends is Thursday, and then I guess they set up Concorso on Friday, and that way they have their event on Saturday.
So Concorso is a paid event. You got to pay to get in. It's not an inexpensive ticket. They're claiming as many as 1,000 Italian and exotic automobiles. And they did have very cool cars there when we went.
I don't remember that many, though.
As many.
As many as it
Up to?
Yeah. They did have, I mean, we got to see like 288 GTOs, a lot of Countachs. Once again, if you like cars and if you like Italian cars, you can judge whether or not the ticket price is worth the entry.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a fun event, decent food.
RM Sotheby's still going on.
Yep.
Exotics on Broadway.
This isn't the one that's downtown.
I think it is.
That's the one. Is that?
With the hypercars and everything?
I think they used to do like the supercar used to be called or something. So this is in near the water, I believe. So what it says is event is focused entirely on super, hyper, and exotic car phenomenon. Exotics on Broadway showcase some of the most rare and exciting cars of our time, alongside the companies and brands that can take these cars to the next level in performance and showmanship. The featured mark will be the Koenigsegg Automotive AB. So you will see a lot. You know what you're going to see a lot of?
Selfies?
Well, Instagram content creators.
Exactly.
You'll never see so many of those gimbals.
Yeah.
or cameras or people, kids trying to get content. And I think that's free, too. Yeah, it's free.
It's free.
Yeah, because it's right on the streets. Yeah.
It's on the streets. Yeah.
So, once again, it's something that if you're in the area, you want to walk down to it, park, and find a park spot, walk down.
It's a fun
worth it.
event, but just know it's crowded.
And good people watching, too.
Yep.
Monterey Motorsports Festival Ferrari event at the Barnyard. I have a feeling it's probably a cost because then it's free.
Yeah.
And then Sunday is Pebble Beach, which is not inexpensive anymore. Runs from 10:30 to 5. I would say Pebble Beach is a definitely go once in your life, if anything.
Bucket list. Just
so you can say you've been to Pebble Beach and make a day of it. Don't look at it as we're going to just drop in for an hour, because the price of those tickets, I don't think it's a drop in for an hour unless you're getting them for free. They're not inexpensive, but you're going to see the cream of the crop when it comes to cars, because what is it? They don't invite the same car for I don't know how many years.
Yeah.
So it's quite an honor to just be invited. It's even more incredible if you can win.
And it's on the 18th fairway, which is iconic, and the views that you will see with the cars, again, definitely a bucket list.
Yeah, it's and that's how the weekends is very appropriately with the Pebble Beach Concours.
So there you have it. Make as much or as little of it. Hopefully, we give you some tips.
Porsche does have their headquarters at the Barns at Molera.
Yes.
And normally during the day, that's open to the public.
Correct.
and they'll have some cars on display.
On Thursday, I think it opens to the public.
Yeah.
You know, activities, seminars. I think they did yoga last year, something like that. So
Yeah,
all
that's right.
sorts of stuff.
They had like a seminar too, open to the public.
art and arts and
And
crafts.
it's Friday night when they do that, their event, or Friday night. So that's the invite only. And they said they pretty much closed it up and require a ticket to be able to access that. But during the day, if you want to stop by, there's a coffee shop right in that area and inside the barn too. So you can get yourself a cup of coffee and walk around and look at where Porsche headquarters, their stuff. Last year they had debuted the GT3 RS at the Quail, and then immediately after they brought it over on Saturday to the barn, and everyone who didn't get to see it at the Quail got to see it at the barn the following morning.
And we saw the Spider. Did we see the Spider there as well? The Spider RS.
Was that last year?
Yeah, I think that was last year.
I wasn't there last year. I didn't
remember
go on that
seeing
nighttime
Maybe
thing.
am I thinking of the year before? Or
I think you're thinking of the year before.
I don't get an invite all the time.
3 RS, yeah.
But yeah, you'll see the latest and greatest there. All right, so with that, I would like to invite you, if you're enjoying the episode, be sure to hit that like button. Comment if you have any tips for those that are heading to Monterey, or if you have your special, cars and or events that you'd like to do on Monterey. Comment below, and of course, be sure to subscribe. We're almost to 95,000 subscribers now, so we're just inching that much closer to 100,000. Let's get into the news, Porsche news. First one up, we're talking about second quarter profit, sales, and revenue.
Porsche gave a warning on their profit outlook, not because of electric car sales or anything like that. It's supply issues with aluminum.
Ah,
Yeah, they're pretty much warning the investors that they're not going to be able to get the amount of aluminum they need to produce their cars. So that's going to...
where's aluminum going that they can't get it?
No, it's there was a flood at one of the bigger aluminum factories or foundries, and guessing it damaged the factory or some of the materials and resources.
So the stock declined as much as 7.7% upon that news. So once again, we're still hearing supplier shortage, not because of COVID this time, but like Damon said, because of
flooding. They've been getting kind of left-right hits, with the
but not just Porsche.
Not just Porsche.
Yeah, it's
just
all auto
industry.
manufacturers.
You've got, China's declined the demand. You've got supply issues. You've got the whole conversion to EV, and does it match consumer demand?
Which Porsche said, I believe this week, that maybe they admitted maybe they were moving a little too quickly on the EV stuff.
The transition,
yeah.
And that's not the first time you're going to hear it. It's going to happen for a while because they're entering uncharted territory.
Sure. Yeah. A lot of manufacturers
but
made that
the
statement.
the takeaway is that they're not saying we made a mistake, we're not doing electric cars.
No,
That's not what they're saying.
They're just saying the conversion timetable is
Yes. Yeah, the take-up.
Exactly.
And that doesn't surprise me one bit. It's
So
you could tell that just by driving on the highway of how many people are driving electric cars and how many are still gas.
Yeah.
how about, do you think this is part of the conversion timeline where people have hinted about not seeing the build opportunity of GT3s on the configurator anymore?
Maybe. I mean,
and
GT3 is aluminum intensive, right?
Yeah.
Could be.
Huh.
That would be speculation.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. We want to, anything else in the news?
I think that was it since we recorded a pod. This week we will set a record.
Yeah.
We will do 3 podcasts in 1 week. So the next podcast our listeners will hear will be the one with Nathan Mers that we'll be doing a couple hours before his open house, which they're expecting 400 PCA members, Melanie said, at Nathan's shop, doing an open house the day before they sail away on the Princess Cruise. So we took advantage since the 3 of us are going to be there, and we'll set up some microphones and have a podcast with Nathan. I think we're going to go over the cars to watch with the auctions at Monterey.
Yeah, and speaking of open house, PCA's open house is September 7th, and we'll be getting information to register out shortly. We talked about Werks Reunion already. Unstock registration
By the time they listen to this podcast, that registration has already been open.
for
Open house.
open house. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
It happens while the cruise is underway. So
Okay. September 4th, registration opens for Unstock.
yes,
Corona, California. We've got even more things developing. I think we've already told you about our Grand Marshal, Alan Springer. We talked about a new segment or event at Unstock with regards to the best sounding exhaust. And I have something, hopefully a special offer for PCA members that's tied in with Kef, who's going to be the official sound of Unstock, and they'll have the audiologist to judge the best sounding Porsche there, but they're going to do something special for us. So stay tuned for that. I want to also give a plug to PCA Sim Racing. If you're looking to race a Porsche and want to do it online, we've got everything that you need at PCASimRacing.com. Show you how to get things set up. Join doing what we call EDE, so you don't have to be a pro. You can get started and learn the ropes, and there's plenty of people to show you how to start racing well online. PCA's web store, we have the Insider bottles, and we have t-shirts and mugs if you want to show your support of the Insider podcast. And we also have the Insider decals. Just send us an email to podcast@pca.org. We'll send you a set of stickers, and you can put them on your toolbox. And I've even seen them on the side window. I think Rich has one on the side window of his 930.
it improved the value of the car.
It did, absolutely. All right, anything else before we wrap this one up and start heading west?
Nope.
All good. Well, thank you for listening. If you aren't currently a PCA member and own a Porsche, grab that VIN, head over to PCA.org, and set yourself up with a PCA membership. If you're looking for a Porsche, we have a test drive program. And again, you can sign up at PCA.org, and it unlocks all sorts of resources so we can help you get the right Porsche on your driveway or in your garage. Remember to follow podcast Instagram page, behind the scenes photos and videos, Porsche Club Insider, all one word. Send us a message if you have a question, podcast@pca.org, or simply comment on our YouTube podcast video. We love seeing the comments, and we love it when folks interact. If you all want to stay in touch with all things PCA, remember to subscribe to our free PCA newsletters at pca.org/newsletters. Until next time, stay safe, and we'll catch you down the road.